Football is the game. It's the Friday Soccer Paycheck live on the air. It is just after 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Chelsea fans bring us in as we have a full weekend of English Premier League and the English Championship. This is the Friday Soccer Paycheck. I am Stephen Murray, live from our Deep In Studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, the United States of America. We welcome you. This is your weekend look at your English Premier League, your English Championship, and we will go over the entire game slate. But as always, let's go ahead and set it up with the table. Let's see where we stand after a rather, a little bit of a turtle in the mud scenario with the games this week. Weather, we definitely had some rain. Scores were down for the most part. Talking about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with our midweek games as we near the end of the season here. Many of these teams have played 30 games. A handful have played 39. A couple have played 29. And we will see how we go with just 8 games remaining here for the most part if you have 30 here in the season. So plenty of time for some shuffling in the standings, et cetera. Teams down in relegation still have a lifeline to get out for the most part. It looks like they are doomed for the championship, and that's the way it works here in the English Premier League. The bottom 3 teams in the standings will end up in the English Championship, the league one step lower than the Premier League. The 3 best teams of the championship promoted for next season. And it trickles down from there. If you're the bottom 3 in the championship, you go to League One. League One, you go to League Two if you're demoted. If you're promoted, you go up the chain, 2 to 1 to the championship, to the English Premier League. All right, so let's set up the table first. And Liverpool, although it looked a little sketchy for a moment there, is able to handle business at the end of the day with Sheffield United. In fact, these teams toward the bottom playing the top dogs, not too shabby, to be honest. When we talk about Luton Town and their effort against Arsenal, Sheffield's effort against Liverpool, Aston Villa, they're a top 4 team, but injury concerns for them, and Man City. Man City's just a deeper, better team at the end of the day. So that was the other big dog on the slate. All 3 teams win. So here's how we sit with the points. Liverpool is in first place. And all these teams have played 30 games. So 8 left each. Liverpool has played 70. Arsenal has played 68 points to the good for them, and 67 points for Manchester City. So 3 points separating 1, 2, and 3. Liverpool with the easier schedule on the way out of the season. So they are in the driver's seat. Basically, if they win out, they are the champions. Aston Villa, 59 points, are in 4th place. Really still alive. I mean, somehow these teams just somehow went south, and they're just too good. The teams in the lower part of the table are too bad. So it's not like 1, 2, and 3 are all going to go south. I mean, they all clearly are the 3 best teams. So that's how they're going to jockey and finish in their positions. But Aston Villa can still hold on for Champions League soccer. In fact, their last time out, they get a win. Tottenham gets a draw So they're going to go 2 points up to the good over Tottenham, although Tottenham does have one extra game to play than Aston Villa. So 59 points for Villa, 57 for Tottenham. Manchester United has 48 points. They were involved in the wild game of the week with Chelsea, a game in which Chelsea goes up 2-0. Man United cuts it to 2-2 at halftime. And for me, I just literally put like $1 on Man United to get over 2 goals at like 12-1 odds, about 2/3 the way through the first half when they had 0. And that's what they did. I should have put a big bet on that. It would have been a really, really lovely day. But a high-scoring affair there. Man United goes up 3-2. And then Chelsea, with what is going to end up being the latest win ever from behind in English Premier League history, behind Cole Palmer's 3rd goal. Chelsea is able to get an equalizer around the 98th, 99th minute. There was 8 extra minutes on the clock. They played to 101 minutes. And then somehow in the 101st minute, Chelsea pulls it out at the end of the day and gets a game-winning goal. So trailing by 2 goals well into stoppage time, Chelsea somehow rallies, gets a goal, gets another goal. And Man United was just asking for it. They were playing laid back. In fact, I would have hit some really, really nice plays. And Man United got to 4 goals somehow. But they kind of called off the dogs. And that's what happens. When you call the dogs off and you try to protect that 1-goal lead, that's when it comes back to bite you. When you're up a goal, you really need to put the throttle down. Doesn't matter how late the game is. You need to try to get that 1 extra goal on the board to put that one away. Man United kind of lets up on their gears. Chelsea, and you got to give them credit with the big come-from-behind win there after blowing a big lead. So 43 points for Chelsea, 43 for Brighton. Brighton and Brentford went to a draw. That was one of the more boring games. Newcastle drew out their game, 44 points for them. West Ham drew Tottenham, 45 points for them. And they're the ones who are from 7th spot down behind Man United. From the bottom half of the table after Chelsea, we'll start with Wolverhampton. Could their injuries be adding to their struggles? We'll see 42 points for them. Bournemouth, 41 points for them. These teams are safe. They're going to be fine for the Premier League next year. Fulham, 39 points. They'll end up being safe at the end of the day. Crystal Palace, 30 points. This is where it starts to get a little sketchy because it's not like Crystal Palace wins games. They've been able to get a few points out of draws, just 1 win in their last 5. In fact, from Crystal Palace on down, the next 7 teams in order, we only have 3 combined wins over a 6-game period cumulatively. I mean, that is combined. Just 3 wins. Let's count up the draws. 11, 13, 16 draws, and 6, 10, 16, 21 losses combined for Crystal Palace with 30 points, Brentford with 28, Everton with 26 after a point deduction, Nottingham with 25 after a point deduction. They are your safe team. And then the 3 teams promoted from last season, Luton 22, Burnley 19, Sheffield 15. All right, so their best case is going to be to try to catch Brentford, Everton, or Nottingham. Crystal Palace will try to swim away a little bit, but they're still treading water and not fully safe yet as far as staying up here in the Premier League. Okay, so that's your table. And let's get to the games this week. We'll do the championship after this. So I'll cue up the old lines here for the English Premier League. Let's see what we got. First game on the board, Crystal Palace plus 950. Underdogs at home, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, plus 470 will be the draw number if they can keep it close with Man City, minus 340. Now, Man City, impressive with their win, 4 goals. Phil Foden, a hat trick for him when they beat Aston Villa. In fact, one of their better team games without playing Erling Haaland, without playing Kevin De Bruyne. Now, you're going to get these guys likely back in the lineup too. Crystal Palace does not show any kind of goal threat whatsoever. This could be a complete beatdown. It really could be. Crystal Palace, again, they play stingy on defense a lot of times. They do have our boy Ebereche Eze as a nice player. There's a potential goal scorer. But, I mean, I don't know if Crystal Palace will get the ball. I mean, they're used to letting the other team have the ball all the time anyway. Man City's going to take that possession for sure. How fancy does Man City want to get? Obviously, goal differential will play some sort of a factor potentially here at the end of the day as well. And they are on the worst end of that behind Arsenal and Liverpool. 3 goals trailing Liverpool. As far as 4 goals trailing Liverpool as far as goal differential, and 10 goals trailing Arsenal, actually. So goals important for Man City, and they're going to want to flex their muscles in this game. I think you're going to see all hands on deck for this away game. Let's see what kind of numbers we're getting on away goals for Man City, because they're just not going to let off the guard here. The first half over away team is always something you want to look at with Man City. If they can just get off to a real fast start, I mean, they're paying 11-1 odds for that. I mean, that is a nice number overall. They can definitely be 3-0 at halftime for Man City. And then the away team over 3.5 goals for the game is plus 390. You're getting a great price for Man City on the road here. Usually you don't get these kind of numbers. Crystal Palace, I don't think is going to give up that much resistance at the end of the day. Man City to get over 2.5 goals is at a plus 140. If they get the 5 goals, 10-1, I think all that's in play. But 6 goals is even 20-1. I still think that one's in play. So this is all Man City here. Crystal Palace is a bad team. This is what we want. We want our good teams wanting to rack up goals and beat down their opponent, and this is the recipe we will be served. Good weather, too, across the UK. Beautiful skies, upper 60s, sunny, perfect weather for the game of football. So Man City, the early game, 7:30 is the pick there. Wolverhampton will be at home against West Ham, plus 150 for the Wolves. West Ham is at plus 170, and a draw is at plus 250. Now, let me get the injuries up for let's get the injuries up here. And we're going to have to update the Wolverhampton injuries. Let's just see what we got. Pedro Neto out. We won't see him. Hee-Chan Huang. He's still got a while to go, it looks like. Now, you can't trust any of these injury reports, but it sounds like Huang is going to still be out for some time for them. West Ham is a relatively healthy team. They're not going to be really missing anyone of note. You know what? I mean, West Ham is probably the better team at the end of the day, considering the injuries overall. Mateus Cunha has been good for the Wolverhampton Wanderers. They do play some feisty defense. West Ham does as well. We talked about Crystal Palace liking to sit back and play defense and strike on the counter. West Ham does that. The Wolves kind of do as well. The Wolves invite you to try to chase them around the back line a little bit, and then they're off to the races with their speed, and they try to hit you on the fast attack. But still playing stingy defense all at the same time. If this game ends up being under or even scoreless or 1-1, that's probably what I would look at here, to be honest. West Ham and the Wolves. The draw, actually, at plus 250 doesn't look like the worst option here. West Ham at plus 170 is a nice price. Just how much do you trust West Ham? I think they can win this game. I actually do. If there's going to be a team who does take a win here, I would think it's going to be West Ham over the Wolves. I like the Wolves. They've been a great story, but injuries just coming back to bite them. If they were healthier, then they're just a little bit more dynamic, is the deal at the end of the day. All right, a winnable game for Luton Town, plus 270 underdogs at home against Bournemouth. Bournemouth is minus 115, and the draw is at plus 310. Now, this game could get sideways. It could go up and down for sure. Over 3.5 goals is plus 126. Over 4.5 goals is plus 300. Luton is an auto overplay for a team anyway. The goals that they've given out have been astronomical. They've given up 64. They've only scored 43. So that is a lot. Bournemouth has given up 53 goals. So that's a pretty decent amount as well, to be honest. And they've only scored 44 overall. Now, Bournemouth is in that group of teams that have been good. In fact, they have 4 wins in their last 6. So they're able to beat some of these bad teams. And you got to say that's got to be favorable for them in this scenario, even with Luton Town. Luton Town with a bunch of injuries as well for the most parts. Let's get to them. Yeah, 11 players hurt for them. Amari Bell is one of them. Elijah Adebayo, another one. So they are missing key cogs to their attack. But they still all contribute, play hard with the style that they play. The proof in the pudding there with the game against Arsenal. Only losing 2-0 to them the other day, 2-0, if I need to say that in soccer terms. But Bournemouth, on their end, just 4 injuries to note. And do we get our man Philip Billing back? Yeah, looks like we do. I don't see him on the injured list. So if he's up and at him, that's even more dynamic for Bournemouth. So we'll have to lean with Bournemouth here at minus 115. Now, this game could definitely have some goals just because of the nature of the styles of play that these two have. So if it ends up being 3-2 Bournemouth, that's not going to be shocking at all, even a little bit more than that. You're getting plus 300 for over 4.5 goals. I think in your exotic plays, trying to do a round robin or whatever, I think that's fair game. So I'll throw that on the ticket with the over 4.5. I'll throw Manchester City. We'll be conservative and just take away team Man City over 3.5 goals for the game. Right now, just those two pay almost 19-1 together. So that's a nice little ticket. Let's see what else we can add to it. This is a relegation zone thriller with Everton hosting Burnley. Everton is minus 145, Burnley plus 400, and the draw is at plus 290. Burnley, even as a bad team, playing a little bit better as of late. They drew out Chelsea with 10 men, had the red card last weekend. Everton hasn't been anything special, except they drew their game with Newcastle earlier in the week. And you know what? This could just be another draw, to be honest. 1-1 game, 2-1 game. I guess you got to favor Everton at home with the home crowd. They do have the one goal scorer. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been scoring. He's a guy I had pegged before I started to do this show on the goal props. Kind of laid off him because of injuries, but here he is. He's been scoring for Everton. So you got to favor him as maybe an anytime goal scorer play as a prop here. And, I just think this is an Everton. Yeah, I'll give this to Everton at home. Burnley's been struggling for the most part. Burnley is paying 4-1 to win this game. Everton minus 145. Let's see what the goals are at home for Everton. Just because Burnley can leak out as well as far as goals go. Plus 250 is over 2.5. I think I can find better plays on the board. I don't like this game as much as the other two for sure. Aston Villa hosts Brentford. Aston Villa is minus 145, Brentford plus 360, and the draw is at plus 320. We do have Ollie Watkins listed, so that's good if he's back for Aston Villa. And you know what? I mean, I don't get it with Brentford. They have decent goal contender Flecken. I do like him. But they have Ivan Toney still. They have Johan Wissa still. They still have Yuri Tielemans. Tielemans on Aston Villa, I'm sorry. But they have Wissa. And, I mean, you would think they'd be able to get a few more goals. Now, their game last week against Man United, they had plenty of opportunities. They just couldn't capitalize. I'm wondering maybe if this game gets up and down like fast break style, you might be able to get Brentford to contribute to a couple of goals here. I think Aston Villa can do that as well. It'll be nice to have Watkins back. They have Moussa Diaby. They're going to want to rebound at home. Much better at home than they are on the road, like they showed against Man City the other day. So I would think that this game has a chance to get over. I could see it being 3-2 either way, even if with Brentford getting an upset. Brentford's been bad. They haven't won. So it's hard for me to really say that I like Brentford in a game, but I just they have enough on the attack where they can pull off a victory if they just get a little bit of a run of good luck here. But if these two teams can get the 5 goals combined, you can get 3-1 on that. I think just for the sake of easiness, we'll just go ahead and throw that one on the ticket. We're looking for goals this week, people, because in a nice upper 60s sunny day in the UK, we are going to look for goals and plenty of them. Injury-wise, with Brentford and Aston Villa, let's see here, and then I'll look at injuries for our next game. Aston Villa, still missing Matty Cash. It'd be nice to get him back. And Ollie Watkins, they say he's 50-50, but he's listed on the anytime goal scorer sheet. So again, these injuries are wishy-washy. You're going to have to pay attention to beforehand. I might like Brentford a little more if there is no Ollie Watkins again. Maybe this game could be a draw, 2-2. It seems like Aston Villa loses a goal when they don't have Watkins. Even still good enough to score, Watkins is the head of that beast when it comes to the attack. Brentford, no major injuries except Rico Henry, who's been out forever. He's not available there. Let's see. Arsenal has Bukayo Saka, still hurt, but they have plenty of attack still left on their front line. Saka could go. He's not ruled out completely for them. Let's see. And I think, is that the next game, Arsenal, for us? I think it is. Yes, as they are at Brighton, and Arsenal is at -165. Now, Brighton's a team that can give up some goals. They like to play an up and down attack, but they do not have their key cogs either in their lineup. That's another team dealing with injuries galore. So let's take a look at those as far as Brighton goes. And Brighton was a great play for us earlier this season. We just jumped off at the right time with no injuries. They're missing Solomon March. They're missing Kairu, Matoma, both of those guys out. Evan Ferguson's at 50%. Billy Gilmore out. James Milner out. They still have Isak, which is nice for them. I'm sorry, Isak plays. They don't even have him because Isak plays on Newcastle. But Brighton, for the most part, is missing their beast up front. So, if anything, this is a fade of Brighton, and we'll look for Arsenal to try to lay the lumber here themselves. They're going to be capable of scoring some goals here. We're not going to rule that out at all. In fact, if they get over 2.5 goals for them, that's a plus 215. That's a good number. Over 3.5 for Arsenal is at 600. So we can even round that one into form on our ticket here. Man, this ticket's paying a lot right now. $10 to win almost $5,500 on Arsenal to score 4 goals or more. Man City to score 4 or more goals, which they're going to be capable of doing. And then Luton, Bournemouth over 4.5. Aston Villa, Brentford over 4.5. All right, so I'm going to play that ticket as a straight play like that. Because trust me, that will make my summer. If I put $20 in that one and it hits, we'll be living nice the soccer life here for the next few months. Let's see. So we're going to look for Arsenal team goals at Brighton. Brighton, some aspirations of European football, but still outclassed here at the end of the day. That's a 12:30 game on Saturday. The games before that are 10 o'clock. That would be Brentford, Aston Villa, Burnley, Everton, Bournemouth, Luton, West Ham, and the Wolves, and then 7:30 a.m. on Saturday, Man City at Crystal Palace. The 10 o'clock game we did miss is Fulham and Newcastle. Excuse me, Fulham was hot. They kind of cooled down. Newcastle was cold from injuries. They kind of heated up a little bit. But injury concerns still. Fulham got blasted for the most part at Nottingham Forest, a bad loss here midweek. Newcastle drew out with Everton. But Newcastle is playing plus 190 here on the road. So you're getting a good price for them to win straight up. I would trust Newcastle to at least win this game. I don't think this is going to be one of those convincing bump jobs, but they could win 1-0 or 2-1, something like that. It's a nice day. Fulham's going to probably score at home, but maybe Newcastle gets 2. So I would maybe look at something there. Away team goals over 1.5 might be interesting, just for a normal play. You don't have to worry about the win. But yeah, minus 140 if that's if Fulham gets 2 goals. If Newcastle gets 2 goals, you're getting paid plus 102. So I would look at Newcastle here straight up. The Arsenal game is at 12:30, and then Sunday we have 3 games: 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 1 p.m. That's an awkward start time for the Premier League. First game will be Man United hosting Liverpool at 10:30. Man United is capable of beating them. I think they really, really are. Liverpool needs to bring a little bit better game than they ran against Sheffield. They are just minus 160 as a favorite. But when you get Hoyland and Rashford out there for Man United, and they still have Bruno Fernandes, who does decent for himself. Garnacho's been a nice player. You might see some goals in this as well. I mean, don't forget, there was a throttle job last spring where I think this was a 7-0 Liverpool victory. So I think the over is in play here for goals over 4.5. I don't think it's going to pay extraordinary, right? Yeah, just plus 205. But these two teams are capable of scoring 5 goals or more on Sunday at 10:30. Man, it's going to be close. Don't be shocked if Man U can pull out a draw here at least. Plus 370, a nice price on that. I'll tell you what, I mean, they're going to want to play spoiler because Arsenal and Man City can kind of play catch up and really bog that down if Liverpool's able to drop points here. Sheffield, let's see how they respond at home again against Chelsea. Chelsea with a big dramatic win, how they handle themselves on the road as minus 260 favorites. Sheffield United plus 550 as an underdog. Plus 440 is the draw. How do you not like Cole Palmer goals again as the anytime goal scorer? Plus 125 for him to score a goal. 2 goals for him. If you're going to do some sort of goal scorer parlay or round robin, throw Cole Palmer in there because he's going to likely get a goal. He's the superhero of the moment for Chelsea. Plus 600 for him. And I'll go through some more goal scorers in a second here. But Chelsea wins this game. They probably win something like, 3-1, 3-0. Maybe even 2-0. Maybe not even that much. But again, nice day, nice weather. We should get some goals. Chelsea's goals away. Let's say they get to 3. I mean, they're capable. Just plus 120 to get to 3 goals for Chelsea. For them to get to 4 goals, plus 340. So they're actually a real big favorite to score more than Arsenal and Man City. I would not go that far, but I think Chelsea scores at least a couple of times, and most likely a third time, Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. And the last game in the Premier League is Tottenham and Nottingham Forest. Tottenham needs somewhat of a get-right game. They can still get Champions League. Nottingham is fighting for their relegation lives and doing well. You know what? And they put up 3 goals their last time out. So don't be surprised if we get an over in this game. I mean, plus 260 to get the 5 goals. I could see Tottenham winning 3-2, 4-1, something like that. Even a 3-3 potentially. Over 3.5 at plus 112 is probably an easier number. I mean, 2-2, 3-1, something like that. But I expect to see goals here with Tottenham and Nottingham Forest. Go ahead and take James Maddison. He's due for a goal, plus 180 for him. If you want to throw Son Heung-min in there at plus 120, You can definitely do that. Chris Wood has been scoring goals too for Nottingham, plus 300 for him. So that's a good price for Chris Wood to score a goal. Throw him in a play somewhere. He's a likely goal scorer if Nottingham is to get one. Other goal scorers, we'll take. Well, we'll go ahead and take. We'll give it to the old man Mo Salah. He's still a favorite at plus 105. Alejandro Garnacho's been nice. Maybe we want to take him again at plus 330. There are some players with opportunity here. Rasmus Højlund is plus 210 for a goal. I mean, that's a good payout. Bruno Fernandes plus 330. I mean, I think Man United can get one or two. It just depends which one of those guys get it. So we can have some fun goal props there. With Arsenal, you're going to have to look to see who's playing at the main of the attack. And is Odegaard hurt? He got banged up the other day but stayed in. So maybe if they get to a big lead, he gets pulled. But Odegaard's plus 280 for a goal. If Saka doesn't play, I could see Martinelli having a big day here. This could be a 2-goal game for Martinelli. He's due for that. Plus 230 for one. Leandro Trossard plus 210 for one. Gabriel Jesus is at plus 175. He would be another guy who's a likely candidate, but he just has bad finishing quality overall. With Newcastle, you got to look at Alexander Isak, of course. He's been on a mission. He's plus 160 for him for an anytime goal scorer. Dominic Calvert-Lewin again for Everton. He'd be another one. These are all favorites, guys, but all very, very capable in what will be a high-scoring day, likely in the EPL, at least from my vantage point. And if all these games are 0-0, 1-0 on a nice, beautiful day, we will be completely disappointed. Yàtọ̀ Solanke in there as well, plus 120 for him. Philip Billing is plus 250. Maybe give a shot on him for Bournemouth. West Ham and the Wolves, we'll lay off of that. But if someone's going to score, you might as well make it Jared Bowen if you need to have someone in there at plus 220. Matthias Cunha at plus 200 would be the other option. It's literally all the chalk. And for Man City, anytime goal scorer, I mean, Phil Foden's been on fire. How about him plus 170? Any of these guys, Julian Alvarez plus 165, Holland minus 140. Holland's bound to get two against Crystal Palace as well. 2 goals for him is at plus 320. So goal props galore available, goals galore available for the slate on Saturday and Sunday. All right, so we will lean with this. I mean, we're going to just take all the overs, literally. But we'll take Man City with their team goals over 3.5 or more. We'll take Bournemouth and Luton Town to go over 3.5 and 4.5. We will take Aston Villa and Brentford to go over 3.5 and 4.5. We will take Arsenal on their team goals over 2.5, 3.5, and up. We will take an over in Man United and Liverpool on Sunday over 4.5, knowing that they could score 6 or more. And we'll take Chelsea over 2.5 goals as well for their team goals at Sheffield. And we'll go ahead and take an over straight up Tottenham and Nottingham Forest. There will be no weekday games this week, but then a full slate next Saturday and Sunday as well. We'll have a handful of games, and then we get back to a Monday game for the EPL. Odds to win the EPL are as follows. Liverpool is minus 105, Man City plus 190, Arsenal is at plus 280. To be the leading goal scorer right now, Holland's at minus 300, Salah at plus 550, Watkins 10-1, Son 11-1, Cole Palmer 14-1, maybe. He could definitely sneak up there. Dominic Solanke at 16-1, Isak 29-1, Jared Bowen 31-1, Bukayo Saka 34-1. Okay, so those are your best bets in the EPL and your goal props. It looks like we have a lot of overs and a lot of goal scorers potentially. It's the kind of day we like. Nice warm spring day. We wait for it for a long time. In a league that's been a lot of overs this so far this season, we're hoping to get just a few more. Okay. In the championship, we'll just briefly go through this with the best plays. Tough game with Norwich and Ipswich. Saturday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Both of these teams have been able to score a lot. So this could be one of those wacky affairs. Over 4.5 is at plus 360. Over 3.5 is at plus 148. Southampton is at Blackburn. Two teams that could also play an over game here. And just for the sake of nice weather, we'll have to stick with that. So Blackburn and Southampton over 4.5 is at plus 300. I guess I should look at the championship table for you guys before we get into any of this, huh? Yeah, we always do that. So let's rewind real quick to that. All right, the championship table sits like this. Ipswich, number 1. You thought the EPL was tight. Listen to this. Ipswich, 87 points, first place. Leeds, 86 points. They are in second place. Now, we have 8 games left here to play as well, for the most part. Southampton has 10 games left to play. Leicester is in third place. They have 1 extra game in hand. They have 85 points. Southampton, 4th, 74. West Brom is 5th with 68. Norwich is right now 6th with 64. So they climbed up into the playoff scenario here, have Norwich here in the recent weeks. Now, here's the deal. The top 2 get automatic promotion. The next 3, 4, 5, and 6 seeds will play a mini tournament to determine the last team promoted to the EPL. After that, Coventry's in contention for the playoff with 60. Preston North End in contention with 59. Middlesbrough trying to make a late charge here. They're the hot team, 58 points for them. Hull City on a downward slide a little bit, 58 points for them. They have 2 losses, 2 draws in their last 5. Middlesbrough, 3 wins, 2 draws. 3 wins, 2 losses for Cardiff with 56 points. And then we start to kind of get, you're going to just finish here in the middle of the pack type of area. Bristol, 53. Sunderland, 51. Watford, 50. Swansea, 47. And figure from Swansea down, you're not safe. Queen's Park Rangers, 46. Blackburn, 45. Stoke, 45. Plymouth Argyle, 44. They're in action today against the Rotherham, the last place team. Millwall, 44 points. The last safe team is Tom Brady's Birmingham team, where they scratched out a win in their last 5 finally, after they've been slumping. But 42 points for them overall, safe of relegation. The relegation zone is Huddersfield Town with 40, Sheffield Wednesday with 39, and Rotherham with 23. So really, we could have some movement for sure, anywhere between Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea, and that includes a total of 8 teams overall. Actually, 9 teams overall. Rotherham, dead last place, 23 points overall for them. Okay, so let's apply that to everything. Over Ipswich, Norwich. Over Blackburn, Southampton. Bristol City and Sunderland is an interesting one. Bristol City, right? They've been a little hotter. Yeah, 3 wins out of their last 4. Sunderland, 3 losses, a draw and a win out of their last 5, and they've been dropping. No play here. Stoke and West Brom. West Brom is the better team at plus 170. Stoke is towards the bottom, so I don't know how you don't take West Brom here. In fact, you got to take goals for West Brom too, I think, as well. Away team over 2.5 is at plus 630. A nice number for West Brom if they can spank Stoke around. QPR and Sheffield Wednesday. This is going to be a potential over game. Both of these teams playing a little bit more dynamic on offense. They have nothing to lose here. Over 4.5 goals is at plus 820. So a big number available here. Over 3.5 goals is at plus 310. I mean, that's going to be good enough to hook into a round robin or so with some other soccer plays. So you take a chance with QPR and Sheffield Wednesday getting off with better offense as of late. Leicester hosts Birmingham. Now, Leicester finally got off the snide Monday morning with a win over Norwich. They were struggling before that. They're going to be motivated at home. Birmingham's going to probably give them all they want, but Leicester, you got to expect them to be safe and get on by. We'll give Leicester an opportunity here for 3 goals at home. So that pays plus 118 if they get over 2.5 for Leicester. Cardiff in the hole. Let's see. Cardiff form once again is pretty good. 3 wins out of their last 5. Hole again on the downward slide a little bit. Just 2 teams I don't like to mess with too much, so we'll stay off of that. Watford is a favorite at home against Preston North End. Preston's been a team we've been playing a little bit lately, and to some success as well. They actually cashed a few tickets for us. Let's see. Preston in good form and okay form. 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. So that would be average form at best. But their opponent here in Watford, who is safe, 3 draws, a win, and a loss in their last 5. So maybe the draw is the right play here, plus 230. Middlesbrough, they're at home. Swansea hasn't been good recently, and Middlesbrough is hot. They're minus 130. Let's see. Middlesbrough, I think team goals is doable for sure. Swansea is a team that will give you goals, play some higher scoring games. Although we haven't seen it lately on a nice, beautiful day, Middlesbrough, you're bound to have that happen. Plus 255 for Middlesbrough. Huddersfield and Millwall. Huddersfield in relegation. They're a favorite, though, over Millwall, plus 135. Millwall's plus 210. Millwall's just boring to me. They don't score a lot of goals. There's nothing dynamic about them. This could be a draw type of game at the end of the day. Good game with Leeds and Coventry. Coventry needs it to try to get some points towards the playoff. And they went along the top. I'd love to see Leeds lose as well. So this is probably your best game of the day with Coventry and Leeds. I would want to say it's a higher scoring game, but this is going to have more of a playoff type of feel, which I think bogs it down at the end of the day. All right, so the best plays in the championship are, we like the EPL a lot better, but we'll take Leicester goals at home over 2.5. We'll take QPR and Sheffield Wednesday over 4.5. We'll take West Brom over 2.5 goals on the road at Stoke. And we'll look for Blackburn and Norwich over 4.5. Blackburn and Southampton over 4.5. And we'll look for Norwich and Ipswich over 4.5 as well. If you need any kind of goal scorer in the championship, might as well just take my boy John Sargent plus 170 for Norwich. Anyone else we want to go with? Let's see. Jamie Vardy's been on fire, man. Minus 105 for him. Patson Daka's minus 130 for Leicester. Drewsbury Hall is at plus 210. He's been able to score. He's like your poor man, James Madison. So there are a few championship goal scorers if you really need them. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll queue up the Tottenham fans. We'll get on out of here. Good full hour. If you need anything to do, go back and listen to the replay. Hear it one more time. Let's get some goals. Let's get some wins. This is the Friday Soccer Paycheck. I am Stephen Murray, broadcasting from the Deep End Studios at Virginia Beach, Virginia. Tune in next Tuesday to the Round Robin, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and What the Puck is Going On, our NHL show, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the Paycheck, America's best and only gambling show on the EPL and the English Championship. Good luck.